Man, oh man, do we got some stuff to talk about tonight. This ain't no movie review. This is WWE Summerslam 2025 Night 1 review. That was something. That was something. So, let's get right into it. Let's get right into this show. We start off with the video package as normal. Singing of the national anthem. I don't even remember that guy who sang the national anthem. I don't even remember his name. Don't really care. But we open up and Cardi B is our host. Really doesn't do too much. I mean, I guess she gets a decent pop when she comes out, but she really doesn't do nothing but a bunch of yelling. Ask how many Logan Paul fans we got in the house. Nobody really reacts. I think she might have asked, who did she say next? I don't even remember who she asked about after Logan Paul, but who cares? I mean, it was just something to open up the show. So then we get on to our first match. Surprisingly, Roman Reigns opens up the show. Not in his usual main event spot. He actually opens up the show tonight as we open up with a tag team match. We open up with Jey Uso and Roman Reigns taking on Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. That is a very difficult tag team to say the names together because I end up wanting to say Bronson Reed's name when I want to say Braun Breaker's name. By the way, that t-shirt that Jey Uso and Roman had that they came out with for SummerSlam, it sucks. I will not be purchasing that one. Yeah, that shirt sucks. So let's get into the actual match. The theme song of Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. This is actually one of the mashups that I actually thought sounded pretty decent. Wasn't garbage like some of the others we got. Like, I couldn't stand the Rated RKO theme. I'm trying to think of another theme I hated when it was mixed together. Oh, I hated RK Bros theme. But this one actually sounded like it kind of worked. So Bronson Reed comes out with the shoes around his neck and calls it the Shoe La Fala. I actually thought that was a little funny. Put him around Paul Heyman's neck too. I thought that was a little funny. Some good heat for the heels there. We get our typical entrance from Jey Uso where he comes out of the crowd. You know, crowd loves that. It is a pretty good entrance. You know, I can't deny that. And Roman comes out, does his typical entrance. Not gonna lie, I wish Roman would go back to that other theme, the first head of the table one. I thought that one hit a little bit harder. Not that I hate this one, but the other one just hit way harder. I guess this one fits him more now that he's a face, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't want that old theme back. I really do. I thought this was a pretty solid match. It was all right. I mean, it was a good way to open the show. A big problem I had is the spot in this match where Jey Uso stops right in the middle of the match and starts eating and they play his music. I absolutely hate spots like that because to me it just makes the match silly. You got Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker as your opponents. You got to build these cats up. You got to take these guys serious. Don't be stopping and eating in the middle of the match like that. It's like, you know, take them serious. Make the heels look good. I wasn't a fan of that spot. Now, as far as the match goes, we did get some pretty nice spots in this match. Specifically, I gotta say, really, the star here might have been Braun Breaker. Crowd was doing a lot of barking, stuff like that. All his spots counted, you know, hard hitting, nice stuff like that. This cat can go. I see big things for Braun Breaker. Bronson Reed didn't do too bad either. He actually did a pretty nice dive in this match to the outside of the ring. Roman actually did a dive in this match too, and I ain't gonna lie, I actually thought he might have hurt himself. He looked like he jumped a little too far. Reminds me of like when Undertaker botches this spot. From Jey, you got your usual stuff. You get your hits and your yeeting and all that, and you know, with Jey, I feel like you pretty much always get the same spots. It's just he's more of a guy that hypes up the crowd and gets the crowd into it and stuff like that. He's more about the yeeting and the showboating it. At this point, I thought he did a lot more stuff when he tag teamed with Jimmy personally. Now it's just, I feel like Jay's a lot different from his tag team days. But you know what? I guess if it works, it works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. It got him a world championship. So it is what it is. It's good back and forth action in this match. I feel like for most of this match, like Roman was doing a lot of selling on the outside, just kind of waiting to come in. When he finally came in, he was okay, I guess, but I don't know. I'm going to be real with you. I feel like ever since Roman came back at last year's SummerSlam, he ain't really been the same Roman. He really hasn't. Like, I feel like he doesn't really get in the ring and do as much. Especially in the tag matches. He kind of like, it's just like wait for the hot spot to come in, get your shit in, powder out again, sell outside the ring, let the other guys take over. No, here's what it is. I mean, Jey Uso actually is the one who picked up the pin in this match by pinning Bronson Reed, although I will say the finish made Roman look cool. He actually pulled, I believe he pulled Jey Uso out of the way during a Braun Breaker spear. And he ate the spear, which was cool because it made Braun Breaker look like a beast with his spear when Roman ate that, which caused I think Jey to throw Bronson Reed, throw him out of the ring, and do what he had to do with, not Bronson Reed, to throw out Braun Breaker, and he did what he had to do with Bronson Reed. I think he might have ducked the move, hit him with the spear, and went up for the Uso splash, got the 1, 2, 3. So it was a pretty nice finish. It didn't really make the bad guys look weak or nothing like that, especially not Braun Breaker. Dude still looked like a star in this match. Pretty decent match. I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5. It was fun. It was a good way to open the show. I just thought Roman could have done a little bit more. So then we go to our second match of the night. And our second match of the night was the Women's Tag Team Championship. You got Charlotte and you got Alexa Bliss going against the Tag Team Champions Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez. Gotta say, Charlotte's outfit was cool. Charlotte probably had the best gear in the match, although I did like the matching outfits from Raquel and Roxanne from the Judgment Day. It was cool. They had like the leopard print and the black, and I think Roxanne might have had like red in the Prodigy name on the back of the trunks. This match was it was okay, I guess. I feel like we had a lot of like some sloppy spots in this match. I'm trying to think of some of the spots here that were kind of sloppy here. I want to say a lot of it was from Alexa, like maybe when she was hitting the ropes and stuff. I don't know, just something seemed off in quite a few of those spots. I don't think Raquel really had any sloppy spots. I don't think. Roxanne, that girl can work. And Roxanne always gets her stuff in. She always does a good job. I thought she did pretty good in this match. I think Charlotte might have had one, I don't want to say botch, but spot that was where the timing was kind of off. I'm trying to think of what that spot was. I can't think of it off the top of my head. This match started off a little slow, kind of built up more toward the middle. See, we got some pretty decent spots here. Trying to think what the big ones were here. What were our spots here? I don't know that there was really anything special in this match here. I know there was a spot where it was near the end where Alexa Bliss she accidentally struck Charlotte, I think, with maybe just a clothesline to the back of the head or something like that. And this is kind of where you thought Bliss and Charlotte weren't going to get the job done. I think this this ended up getting a 2 count. I know Raquel and Roxanne ended up going for a finish here. I believe Roxanne hit the pop rocks, and this is where Alexa runs back in and hits like maybe like a front flip neck breaker or something like that to break up the pin. That was a good spot. That was a really good spot. And I think shortly after that was when we get our so I think Alexa sets up Roxanne for the Sister Abigail. Raquel runs in to stop it, but I believe Charlotte runs in with a big boot. That takes out Raquel. Alexa Bliss hits the Sister Abigail. We get our 1, 2, 3, and we got new women's tag team champions. I don't think this match was anything special, but I mean it did what it needed to do. The women's tag matches are hit or miss. They're kind of just there to kind of like to get them on the card. I mean you can't leave Charlotte off the card, obviously. Can't really leave Bliss off the card either. So this match did what it needed to do. We got new tag team champions, and it gives both Charlotte and Alexa Bliss something to do for a while, which this will probably just end up turning into a feud for them later. So it makes perfect sense. It buys them some time. You know, doesn't really do anything bad for Roxanne or Raquel, seeing as though Roxanne just recently came up to the main roster. So I think she'll be fine. Especially when you consider she had the longest amount of time in the Royal Rumble, which I actually was at. I was there for that. Roxanne's going to be fine. Raquel, I believe she's going to be a typical character. She'll be fine in the long run. Judgment Day is a good spot for her right now. So it is what it is. It's working. Pretty decent match, but I think I'm just going to give this one a 2.5 out of 5. I mean, it was average. On to our next match, we got Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't care too much for this feud. I don't hate Karrion Kross, and I like Sami Zayn, but this feud just really isn't doing it for me. I mean, it gives Kross something to do. It's what the fans have been wanting. See, I'm trying to think what our big spots were here in this match. I know we got a blue thunder bomb. I think that's what he calls a blue thunder bomb from Sami Zayn. There was a spot in the match where I believe Scarlett, I don't know why the hell I said Charlotte. Scarlett tried to give Sami Zayn a pipe, I think. But Sami Zayn refused it. I think Karrion Kross went for some kind of move. I think Sami Zayn ducked it, turned it into a blue thunder bomb, but obviously that wasn't the finish of the match. There was also a the corner exploder move from Sami to Karrion Kross. That move looked actually very sloppy. It didn't even look like Karrion Kross jumped for that bump. You know, I don't remember Karrion Kross doing too much in this match at all, actually. I thought it was more of Scarlett and her distractions, although I do remember a spot in this match. I believe it was that pipe spot. You can actually hear Kross telling Scarlett the spot because, I don't know, Scarlett forgot the spot or just didn't know it was time to do it right now or what, but I know you can literally hear them call out that spot. The corner, like I told you, the corner exploder move or whatever, that sets up for what eventually became our finish with the haluva kick in the corner. One haluva kick, pin, 1, 2, 3, Sami Zayn wins. I mean, I feel like, yeah, Karrion Kross might be getting put on the card, but this dude is still losing like crazy, so I don't know what's coming next for him. I guess he's just happy he's a part of the show now. Who knows? I guess that's what airing out your frustrations about not being on Mania will get you, apparently. I don't know if that was a work or not. Maybe it was a work. I don't know. I didn't care for this match personally, though. I'm gonna give this match 2 out of 5. I didn't care for it. I was a little bored by this match. I think I might even got up and taken a piss break during this one. Now we go on to match number 4. Jade Cargill versus Tiffany Stratton for the WWE Women's Championship. I'm going to be real with you. I was all for Jade Cargill in this. I'm not a huge Tiffany Stratton guy, if you want me to be honest. She's all right. She's a good worker. I'm not the biggest fan. The whole like Barbie character and stuff, it's overdone in my opinion. She's okay. She puts on some pretty solid matches. Even her feud with Charlotte, I wasn't really big into it. You know, I just kind of feel like Tiffany Stratton she is what she is. She was fine in NXT. She's fine on the main roster, but she'll never be the reason I go buy a ticket for anything. So let's see about this match here. We did have some sloppy spots here. We had a few sloppy kicks from Jade Cargill. I mean, nothing to really brag about or anything to really talk about much here in this review. I know we got a spot in here where the Alabama Slammer from Tiffany Stratton was a little bit sloppy, but I personally think that might have been because of Jade. It didn't really look like she got her lifted up much or something like that. I couldn't really remember. I know there was like a torture rack spot where the torture rack, I think it turned into like a power bomb or something. It was a nice spot from Jade Cargill. Obviously, it didn't get the job done because I think that spot was pretty early in the match. I'm trying to think of some more spots here that we had in this match. Jade Cargill did end up hitting the Jaded, which I thought was going to finish this match, but unfortunately, it did not. As she hit the move, which, Jaded, she rolls that into a pin. I believe Tiffany Stratton's foot was actually on the rope at this time, which the ref caught after a 2 count. Match kept going on. Eventually, they got into a corner spot. Actually, I should also mention there were quite a few suplex counters in this match, too. I know Jade Cargill did like one off of the ropes, which after Tiffany sold that, she rolled it into like a Falcon Arrow, which was actually a nice spot from Tiffany. There's some pretty good comeback spots here from Tiffany. But I want to talk about the finish here a little bit because I can't really think of too many memorable spots in this match. They're kind of fighting out in the corner. Jade gets her set up for the Jaded in the corner, which usually seals the deal. This spot was taken a little too long for my liking, which that's what made me know that Jade probably wasn't going to walk out of this one with the title. Tiffany flips it into like a kind of like a front sunset flip, which sends Jade off of the top rope. Tiffany gets back up and hits her the BME or something like that. Best moonsault ever, the finisher. And 1, 2, 3. Tiffany retains. I was a little disappointed. I really wanted Jade Cargill to walk out with this one. Like I said, I'm not much of a Tiffany Stratton fan, but it is what it is. It was an okay match. Give this one 3 out of 5. It was above average. Maybe 3 out of 5 is being a little too nice. Maybe it's more of a 2.5 out of 5. But I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 3 out of 5, just because a lot of the comeback moves from Tiffany and a lot of the power moves from Jade, it mixed okay. It was fine. There were some sloppy moments, but it was by no means a bad match. Match number 4, I believe we have. Well, actually, that was match number 4. Match number 5, I believe. Which match was this? I believe this was our Jelly Roll and Randy Orton taking on Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul match. So surprisingly, Jelly Roll started this match out. Usually when these kind of things happen, usually the active WWE superstar starts the match out, but no, we actually had Jelly Roll start this match out. So that was something different. Logan Paul got some spots in on Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll got some spots in on Logan Paul. I think he countered something into a body slam. Logan Paul got a few shots in, which Jelly Roll wasn't really selling those too well in the early going. Nice little body slam, like I said, from Jelly Roll. I believe we had some chest chops there, which I always think chest chops don't look that great when you do them to an opponent that's wearing a shirt. And Jelly Roll obviously was wearing a shirt. Even though the man's apparently lost like damn near 200 pounds from what I'm hearing. I don't know. He looked a lot thinner, but he still came out wearing a shirt, made the chops look a little weak. Jelly Roll also did wasn't a people's elbow. I believe it was some kind of elbow drop he did or something, I think. It was okay. It wasn't nothing to brag about. A little basic spot, but it was fine. Logan sold it real well. And Jelly Roll actually took quite a bit of damage in this match. He did take some decent chops from Drew McIntyre, which looked better than the ones that Logan Paul threw. Most of this match was them kind of just bullying around Jelly Roll and stopping him from tagging in Randy Orton. Eventually, Randy Orton got a hot tag. For pretty much up until that point, Randy Orton was in the match until we got to a spot outside the ring where Logan Paul hits a frog splash onto Jelly Roll through a table. Which, when you see these kind of spots with celebrities, you know what that means. It means they're pretty much going to sell for most of the match until it's their time to come back in and hit their spot to take home the victory. This one went a little different. So as the security, the EMT people are pretty much helping Jelly Roll up and acting like they're going to take Jelly Roll out of the match, that spot was taking a little too long to the point where I knew Jelly Roll was going to come back into this match at some point, which he did. And be honest, the crowd actually got a little hot for that spot there. So Jelly Roll comes back in, and this is where we actually get some decent wrestling moves from Jelly Roll. He hits what the hell did Michael Cullen call it? I know his belly to belly might have been called a jelly to belly, which I thought was actually pretty funny. And then he did his, he hits his choke slam, but I believe that pin was broken up. I want to say he hit Logan Paul with that choke slam. I think Drew might have broke up the pin. He also hit a boss man slam on Drew, which, same thing. It was either kicked out of or broken up, See what we get to next. I believe Orton hit a RKO on Drew. But I think Logan Paul might have been the legal man at the time. So that kind of caused a distraction or something like that. I think there was another spot where Drew might have rolled in, hit a Claymore, which put Jelly Roll down for a while. Orton and Drew, I think, both end up... I think Drew threw Orton out of the ring. Logan gets the tag. Logan goes up with the frog splash, hits it again. Surprisingly, 1, 2, 3. Jelly Roll eats a pin. I got to give the man his props. He came in there, got his spots in. Usually these celebrities want to take home the W. No, this man did the job. So I will take my hats off to Jelly Roll for this. This match did what it needed to do. In my opinion, this might have been the most fun match so far. So I'm going to give this one a 3.5 out of 5. It wasn't like a 5-star classic or anything like that, but it was fun. I thought Jelly Roll did fine. He did, and I take my hat off to him for eating the pin. This match here takes us into our main event, where we get CM Punk, challenger, against the World Heavyweight Champion, Gunther. Gotta say, I was a big fan of Punk's ring gear. I like the light blue and the white here. Gunther, same ring gear as always. Some pretty good video packages here for this match. I've been waiting to see CM Punk get his hands on that gold now for probably like the past year. And this was definitely the spot to do it, was at SummerSlam. It didn't need to happen at a WrestleMania or anything like that. There's plenty of time for that. He got his WrestleMania main event. I don't really want to say moment because he didn't win the match at WrestleMania 41, but he was in the main event. That was good enough. We get our usual stuff from Gunther. You know when you see Gunther, you're going to see the opponent's chest is just going to be just red. And I should probably start taking notes of how many chest slaps Gunther actually does, because Punk's chest was red. We get what do we get from Punk? Some pretty good fighting back. This was a pretty good slow-paced match. This match was pretty much about who can out wrestle who, and that's really what a main event should be. You don't really need, you don't always need like hardcore or crazy flips or none of that stuff. You don't need that for your main event. Your main event, in my opinion, should always be about the actual wrestling, and that's what these two guys did. Trying to think of these most memorable spots in this match. Believe there was a figure four spot that was it was a sharpshooter spot that was attempted by CM Punk, which Gunther countered into his own sharpshooter, and this went on for quite a while. Eventually, Punk broke that spot, turned it into a figure four, but Gunther gave him a few shots and broke that, only to have Punk turn that into a sharpshooter, which Gunther escaped rather quickly, almost a little too quick. I feel like that hold wasn't even in for a minute. So that gets us back to like more back and forth basic wrestling and stuff. Eventually we get where the two go outside the ring. Punk's doing a lot of selling because he's been getting his ass kicked at this point. Gunther goes out to the ring and showboats for a little bit, climbs on the table. We get a spot that was very similar to what CM Punk did to Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania last year when he yanked him off the table, pretty much cost him his title. We get a spot just like that from CM Punk to Gunther, only this busts Gunther open. Gunther gets some color in this spot. I mean, head's all bleeding and stuff like that. Punk rolls back into the ring to buy himself some time. Gunther gets back in the ring, but he's all bloody and stuff. Tries to beg off, get the ref to kind of get Punk to stay in his lane and stuff. Punk goes for a go to sleep, which Gunther counters into a power bomb. We get a 1-2. Punk kicks out. They kind of battle back and forth, but Gunther ends up hitting another power bomb into a pin. 1-2 almost takes Punk out, but Punk kicks out. I believe there is another spot there where Punk starts to get the upper hand. He goes for a go to sleep, but Gunther turns it into a sleeper, which most of the time Gunther hits that sleeper, you're going to sleep. You're going to probably not tap out, but you're going to pass out. So he gets that on Punk. Punk slowly starts to get up, and out of nowhere we get a GTS that Punk sold really well because he was still fighting from getting out of the sleeper. So this was like a good build up for CM Punk. And Gunther sold it real well, too, by not hitting the ground yet. Eventually, this sets up for the second GTS. A bloody Gunther falls. CM Punk gets the cover. 1, 2, 3. We got a new World Heavyweight Champion. I did geek out for this moment. I was happy to see Punk get his moment. I thought this was an excellent way to close the show. The crowd loved it, all that. So we close this show out with CM Punk as the new World Heavyweight Champion. Or so I thought. A couple minutes later, we hear, "Burn it down." I immediately say to myself, oh shit, this again. Seth Rollins comes out on crutches with Paul Heyman. I knew the minute I saw Seth Rollins with matching crutches, the same color as his suit, I knew that this fool was working us with that injury. And in fact, I've known it for a while. So what happens? Seth Rollins comes out. Heyman is holding the briefcase. Seth says to CM Punk, enjoy it while you can. Turns around, acts like he's going to leave. I know damn well we are not ending SummerSlam Night 1 with this. We're not going to tease his music and not do nothing. Although there was a chance that maybe they teased that and he'd cash in during the Cena Cody match, which I thought would have been a smarter idea. I don't really understand Seth going after the same titles he's already, he just dropped. a little under a year ago. I don't really understand that. I don't think we really need to keep the CM Punk Seth thing going right now. But, I mean, let's be honest. Seth is a star on Raw. He ain't going to SmackDown. That's what that was all about. So what happens? Suddenly, Seth Rollins throws the crutches off, takes off the knee brace, turns around, heads toward the ring. I already knew this meant Punk's championship run was not lasting. Seth Rollins gets into the ring. Hits CM Punk with a couple of shots. This is after he actually announces he's going to cash in. So as soon as he announced that, I knew Seth ain't losing that briefcase. Gets a couple of shots in. Punk fights back. Punk goes for a GTS. Seth, couple of shots to the head. I think those couple of headshots kind of knock CM Punk to the ground. Seth backs up, hits a curb stomp. 1, 2, 3. God damn it. Seth Rollins is once again your world champion. Now, I do not hate Seth Rollins. I don't. I actually remember when I used to be a pro wrestler, Seth Rollins being a part of the same show that I was booked on in my debut when he was wrestling as Tyler Black. And I always thought this guy was a hell of a worker. Always thought it was cool to see this guy go far and be pretty much the top guy or one of the top guys in WWE. But come on, man. It's time for you to step back and let somebody else have the shine time, man. You don't need this spot anymore, and you really did not need to win that Money in the Bank briefcase. And I still don't think you needed to be paired with Paul Heyman. I don't get that alliance. I don't. I do feel like all this is just kind of building up for Braun Breaker to be an eventual star, but I don't like the storyline. I don't. And I don't like Seth Rollins as World Heavyweight Champion anymore. He had it long enough the last time. I mean, when they brought that title back, he was the one who won it, and he had it for such a long time. We don't need to go through this again. Start building up some better stars. I really feel like this was the time to put the title on Punk and let him run with it for a little bit. We don't need to go back to this Seth Rollins stuff. But I do have to say that the actual cash-in process, the way they built it up tonight, it did look good. I'm over the Seth Rollins as World Heavyweight Champion thing. So this is how we end SummerSlam Night 1. Overall, it was a pretty fun show. I'm just a little disappointed in how we took this one home. Long-term storytelling, yeah, probably. But I feel like we've been here. We've seen this. It's time to let somebody else have that spot. And I really think this spot should have gone to CM Punk. I mean, what do you all think? Let me know what you all thought of this show in the comments.